Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about our memories and their alternatives. Sometimes, we might not be lucky enough to pull the your memory when its featured banner shows up. But don't worry. There are still great options you can use as substitutes. Let's start with Ashijima's memory. This memory mainly boosts his awareness. And when that awareness goes over a certain point, it turns into a big power increase, making his spikes hit even harder. But if you can't get it, what are the best alternatives? In the opposite position, there aren't many attacking type players. So the most reliable choice is Kyotani SSR. This one is especially good because it provides critical power to your spikers. And in the late game it can even reduce the opponent's block. However, if you want the most value, Kyotani remains the best choice overall as alternative in opposite position. Next, we have Urasamu's memory. This one focuses on boosting his quick attacks. And if his attack technique is high enough, it turns into a very strong quick spike damage boost. Now here's the tricky part. Osamu is the only opposite player with a quick attack type. So there aren't really any true alternatives that match this memory. That's why if you play Osamu, you should really aim to get his memory. But if you don't have it, then you can basically use any memory as a placeholder. Since one of Osamu's main skills is serving, a decent option is Kyotani's senior memory, because it increases serve stats and can still complement his playstyle. Now let's move on to the middle blocker position, starting with Kuru. His memory is good because it doesn't just boost his block, but also stacks extra block power every time he gets a quick attack boost. And when he uses his block special move, those stacks are consumed to reset the cooldown faster. However, a good option you can use is Tsukishima SSR memory. It gives a solid block boost. And more importantly, it becomes stronger when the opponent has a debuff. This actually works very well with Kuru's block skill, since his special move gets an extra boost against opponents that are already weakened. So while it's not the same as his memory, Tsukishima's memory still pairs nicely with his blocking style. Next is Hirugami's memory. This one is very powerful because it not only boosts his block directly, but it also stacks even higher whenever your team scores. On top of that, if your allies have the solid block effect, Hirugami gives an extra boost to the whole team's defensive technique, making him one of the best defensive walls in the game. For alternatives, there are two good options you can use. First, Vishio SSR memory. This one works really well with Hirugami's ultimate block skill, since it ensures a strong and consistent block, while also giving extra block stacks as long as your results aren't bad. The second option is Tsukishima SSR memory. This becomes especially effective if you've already unlocked Hirugami's resonance for skill, because he can apply debuffs to opponents. And Tsukishima's memory gives a big boost when blocking against debuffed spikers. Now let's move on to the wing spiker position, starting with Bikudo. His memory is good because it not only increases his power hit, but it also stacks even higher whenever your team activates Team Morale Awakening. On top of that, it extends the duration of Team Morale Awakening, which makes him even more dangerous when he's in his best condition. For an alternative, the best option is Goshiki SSR memory. It gives a solid power hit boost, and becomes much stronger while Team Morale Awakening is active. This actually works perfectly with Bikudo's passive skill, since he gains excellent condition during Team Morale Awakening. And that's when his spikes become the most powerful. Next is Korai's memory. This one is very versatile. It boosts both his attack and defensive technique. And every time he uses a skill or special move, his main parameter stacks higher. If the play becomes a nice play, he even gets an extra stack, which makes him scale up really fast during a rally. For alternatives, the first option is Ohira SSR memory. This one fits Korai well because he's an all-rounder with many different skills. So, he can stack awareness and reaction quickly just by playing his role. Another strong option is Arin SSR memory. This memory becomes even more effective if you've unlocked Korai's Resonance 4, since that skill lets him recover stamina whenever his all-rounded play becomes a nice play. Combine that with potentials like Power Rise, which also help with stamina recovery. And Arin's memory gives him a strong power hit and attack technique boost on top of his balanced stats. Next, let's talk about Sakuse's memory. This one is a great mix of offense and defense. It boosts his power hit, and every time he receives, his attack technique gets a big boost along with stacks of mental. This makes him stronger the more he participates in both defense and attack. For an alternative, Genjima SSR memory is the best fit. It boosts receive, and after a receive, it also increases power hit. Plus, if his receive is a nice play, his next spike will always be a nice play as well. This matches perfectly with Sakusa's kit, since his passive skill already boosts both power hit and receive, stacking power each time he defends and attacks. Next, we have the Libero position. His memory is excellent because it not only boosts his receive, but also supports the whole back row by increasing their defensive technique. On top of that, whenever an ally activates a receive skill, they recover stamina and gain a big temporary spike or quick boost. As an alternative, the best choice is Akagi SSR memory. It also boosts receive, and as long as his receive or cover isn't bad, it provides a strong defensive technique buff for allies. This actually works very well with Komori's passive skill, since he already increases the defensive stats of the backcourt and brings extra stability with his unique buffs. Now let's move on to the setter position. Starting with Oikawa. His memory is one of the best because it boosts his serve and builds up attack rhythm stacks whenever his serve is successful. With enough stacks, his allies gain extra awareness power, and even mental. Then, as an alternative, you can use Oikawa SSR memory. This one focuses more on toss, but it still works with attack rhythm by giving allies awareness per stack, and even boosting Oikawa's toss once he hits 10 stacks. This makes it very consistent with his passive skill, since Oikawa's playstyle revolves around building and consuming attack rhythm to guarantee strong attacks for his team. Next up is Kageyama. His memory is really powerful because it boosts his toss, and when he uses it to attack, it converts his awareness into power. On top of that, the next spike after his to attack also gets a big damage increase. For an alternative, there's another memory that focuses on boosting his serve, while also increasing his awareness whenever he activates it to attack. This works quite well with his kit, since Kageyama often uses to attacks to surprise the opponent. And lastly, we have Atsumu's memory. This one not only boosts his toss, but it also supports allies with low awareness or reaction by giving them extra attack and defense technique. On top of that, every time an ally fails to land a nice play, Atsumu himself gains stacks of attack and defense technique. As an alternative, Akashi SSR memory is a great fit. It gives toss and stamina recovery to spikers during team morale awakening, plus an extra attack technique boost for the spike. This pairs really well with Atsumu's skills, since one of his key tosses removes negative effects from his teammates, and his other skill scales up attack technique whenever allies make mistakes. That's all about our memory and its alternative. See you in the next video.